Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business.
Oh, hello! So it sort of feels like everybody and their grandma started playing Fortnite overnight. This happened ages ago, and I didn't really care because I have terrible hand-eye coordination and I hate losing, so video games are just stressful. But then people started suing each other, and I got interested. You see, the rapper 2 Milli, the guy who played Carlton in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and the kid who made that dance that every single child is doing like their life depends on it, they're suing Fortnite. They're claiming that Fortnite is profiting off their intellectual property, their dances, without compensation, or even permission. And the claim that Fortnite is using their dances and profiting off them is true, unequivocally. See for yourself. This is the Milli Rock, created by the rapper 2 Milli. This is the Swipe It dance in Fortnite. Here's the Carlton, and this is the Fresh dance. And here's the Backpack Kid dance. He calls it the Rustle, but most people know it as the Floss, or flossing. Now there is this in-game currency called V-Bucks. The exchange rate is about $1 for 100. And those dances are called emotes, and they're available in the cash shop for 200 to 800 V-Bucks. All things considered, that's pretty affordable since the rest of the game is free. So a lot of people end up buying things like emotes and skins. The average player spends about $60 in the game, and in its first year of existence, Fortnite made $1.2 billion in revenue. It's expected to generate $2 billion by the end of 2019. So Fortnite is definitely turning a profit, in part due to its dances. I mean, everybody has heard of Fortnite dances, and it is this cool way to bring the video game to reality. So what's the deal with this lawsuit? Why does it seem like it could be hit or miss? I guess they never miss, huh? Well, first you need to know that intellectual property is protected by trademarks, patents, or copyright. And it turns out these dances have a pretty tough time meeting the requirements of any protection. Let's start off with trademarks. According to the US Patent Office, a trademark is generally a word, phrase, symbol, design, or combination thereof that identifies and distinguishes the source of the goods of one party from those of others. It typically protects brand names and logos. Think Coca-Cola versus Cola. Do you remember Tebowing? It's that touchdown celebration that this football dude did years ago. Anyway, that's trademarked. No, not that, not the move, but the name. Because a dance or movement cannot distinguish a source, which is the whole point of trademarks. That's why the Milli Rock is called the Swipe It. So what about patents? Well, they protect inventions. Specifically, according to Section 101 of Title 35 of the United States Code, a patent can only be given for any new and useful process, machine, manufacture, or composition of matter, or any new and useful improvement thereof. Besides how difficult it is to define the newness of a dance, patents aren't really designed to protect creative works. They are for physical items or processes with a tangible outcome. So Michael Jackson might not have a patent for the moonwalk, but he does have one for the shoes that let him lean really far in Smooth Criminal. So trademarks and patents are out. What about copyright? Really, it is the best bet that any artist has for nailing Fortnite. Because if we can establish that Backpack Kid owns the copyright for flossing, it's pretty clear that Fortnite is infringing on it. Side note, that was a wild sentence. It wouldn't have made sense 5 years ago. So, do they hold the copyright? Well, here's the cool thing. Unlike trademarks and patents, copyright exists the moment the thing is created, as long as it can be protected under copyright. You don't need to apply or fill out any forms. If you make a thing and that thing can be protected under copyright, you hold the copyright. According to Section 102 of Title 17 in the US Code, copyright refers to original works of authorship fixed in a tangible medium of expression from which can be communicated directly or with the aid of a machine. Works of authorship include literary works, musical works, and choreographic works. Now, originally, choreographic works needed to be dramatic. They needed to convey some sort of serious story in order to be protected. It was because dance alone was deemed less important. Congress didn't believe that a dance could impact people outside of the story it was supposed to help tell, so it needed a story to be protected. Also, dances were just hard to define. But in 1976, abstract dance, the dance on its own, earned protection. Choreography was considered a specific sequence of movements. But there's still the problem of originality. In copyright, originality isn't a matter of novelty. It's whether or not the thing was the result of independent labor. Did it originate with you? But dance is often influenced by teachers and communities. So how do you define an original dance? Well, first off, it can't be a basic movement. Nobody owns first position in ballet. So it boils down to rhythm, space, and movement, and how the artist represents that? Does it have an original stamp, or is it too similar to something before it? But there is one thing that might make this case trickier than expected. Because the Millie Rock, Carlton, and flossing might count as social dances, which aren't protected. You see, those dances I was talking about before that set precedent, they were ballets and musicals. They were performed by skilled dancers for an audience. On the other hand, social dances are intended to be performed by members of the public for the enjoyment of the dancers themselves. Social dances can be creative and complex, but because of their intention, they can't be protected. So this Fortnite legal battle really boils down to whether or not 2 Millie, Carlton, and Backpack Kid can prove that they own the copyright. Which, if you haven't noticed, is pretty tough. The language around copyright is this weird mixture between specific and vague, which might seem annoying at first, like the law is trying to make itself as hard to understand as possible. But you need to realize that it's a necessary evil, because copyright exists to protect this ever-nebulous idea that is art. If you allow people to copyright vague concepts, you run the risk of deterring future creativity out of fear of legal action. Gus Johnson just made a video about getting hit with copyright claims despite the fact that he didn't infringe copyright. But if you make things too specific, you allow people to profit off of other people's work by just changing small details, like taking a dance and just changing the name. It's tough, and I do believe that wherever this Fortnite legal battle ends up, it's going to set a pretty interesting precedent. Where do you think it's going to end up? Do you think those dances should be protected by copyright? Let me know down below. And to say thank you for letting me jabber on about copyright law, I'm gonna do my ad read over footage of me trying Fortnite dances. Don't sue me! Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. As a student, I use my Squarespace website as an interactive resume. Because let's face it, my GPA is not impressive. Not because I'm distracted by video games, but because I'm dumb. Their stunning designer templates make me look like I know what I'm doing, and when I don't know what I'm doing, their award-winning 24/7 customer service is there to help. If you sign up using your student email, you get 50% off your first purchase. But if you're past school and resumes and you're starting up your own creative venture, Squarespace is still perfect for you. Websites, online stores, marketing tools, analytics, it's all there and it's all beautiful. And you get 10% off your first purchase if you go to squarespace.com/Sabrina Cruz. So if you've got an idea, make it with Squarespace. But either way, have a lovely day.